Welcome back to another video.
A serious video from the Furbies, and today
We're not joking around.
We're discussing a true crime
Story.
of one of our close old workers, actually,
Mitchell White
Brown.
Can we get into it?
Let's dive right in.
So, the town of Ash Creek had exactly three things: fog, rumors, and bad decisions. The worst rumor of all surrounded a man called Mitchell White Brown. Nobody knew where he came from.
Damn.
One day he just sort of appeared, like a software update.
Like a faint memory.
Nobody asked for.
Now, I ain't saying Mitch was haunted, but if a guy walks into town carrying 7 clocks, all showing different times, people is going to ask questions. And that's just science.
Witnesses claimed strange sounds coming from his house at night. Some heard whispers, others heard laughter. One elderly neighbour insisted she heard a microwave arguing with somebody.
Police looked into it. They found nothing except 27 jars labelled "Do not open." Naturally, somebody opened them. It contained a single sticky note that read, Told ya.
After that, things got kind of weird. Cats staring at empty corners. Streetlights flickered whenever Mitch walked past. One teenager swore he saw the moon blink.
How the hell does that even work?
I don't know. Which shouldn't happen, probably.
And that's when folks start disappearing. Not dying. Not kidnapped. Just gone. One minute they was there. The next minute they wasn't. Grandma also started disappearing around town, which were concerning.
The grammar got worse over the next week. Store signs changing overnight. Open 24 hours become open 24 hours maybe. No parking became no parking except if you really want to.
What the hell?
Like, okay. Nobody could explain it. The paint was being altered. The letters were simply different every morning. And somehow, every altered sign appeared on street Mitch White Brown had walked through the night before.
Now I know what you're thinking. Mitch is just a weird guy. That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
Then I saw him standing in the cemetery at 3 a.m. feeding bread to absolutely no one.
Nobody.
Not birds, not squirrels, just nobody. You toss a piece of bread into darkness and nod like something caught it. I did not investigate further because I value being alive.
On October the 17th, local police finally searched Mitchell's house. The officer entered at 9:14 p.m. The first officer emerged 6 minutes later. He immediately retired.
He was not old, by the way.
The second officer refused to discuss what he'd seen. The third officer reportedly stared at a wall for 3 hours before asking if walls had always been that loud.
Walls don't talk. That's all I recall. Hello?
No official report was ever released. Isn't that weird?
That's really weird. The rumors got out. Rumors always get out. People said the basement was bigger on the inside. People said every room contained a different year. People said there was a staircase leading downward that somehow arrived upstairs.
What?
One witness claimed he found a room filled entirely with calendars showing dates that hadn't happened yet. Most folks assumed he was crazy. Then one of those dates came true. Exactly.
3 days later, a power outage struck Ash Creek. The entire town went dark, except for Mitch's house. Residents watched from their window as every light inside his house glowed bright blue. Shadows moved behind the curtains. Dozens. Far more shadows than people could possibly fit inside the building.
That's weird.
And at exactly midnight, all of them stopped moving at once.
You ever feel like someone's staring at you? Multiply that by 100. That's what the town felt. Middleton wasn't saying. Every person who was awake later described the same sensation. Like something had finally noticed them. Like they had spent their whole lives hiding and suddenly got found. I hated that feeling. And I still do.
The next morning, a handwritten note appeared on the town notice board. Nobody saw who posted it. The message contained only 6 words. I found the missing minutes. No signature. No explanation.
Just Mitchell.
Just those 6 words. Yet somehow, everybody knew Mitchell White Pearson Brown had written it.
You can tell by his handwriting.
No,
He always leaves a stain.
I never doubt.
Because who else writes stuff like that? Normal people write things like meeting moved to Thursday or found dog. No, I found missing minutes. That sounds like some sort of sentence that gets investigated by at least one government agency. Maybe 2.
Maybe. The mystery deepened. When townspeople compared their clocks, every clock in Middleton was exactly 11 minutes behind. Phones, watches, microwaves, church bells, everything. 11 minutes missing. No one could explain where the time had gone.
But you know who could? Mitchell White Brown could.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, because that evening he walked into the diner, ordered black coffee, and casually announced, "You're welcome." Nobody asked questions.
What?
And the creepy guy says you're welcome regarding stolen time. You don't ask follow-up questions. That's basic survival instinct.
You should know. Then came the storm. Witnesses described clouds rotating while the rest of the sky remained clear. Thunder echoed without lightning. Lightning flashed without thunder. Rain fell upward.
How does that even work?
I don't know. Several laws of physics submitted formal complaints.
Let's change the physics leaving cert exam, shall we?
Yeah.
And right in the middle of that storm, Mitch stepped outside, carrying one of his clocks. The oldest clock. The one nobody had ever seen running. He placed it in the center of the road. Then he wound it. 1 turn. 2 turns. 3. The town went silent. Not quiet. Silent. No wind. No insects. No breathing. No sounds whatsoever. Like reality had accidentally pressed mute.
The clock struck midnight. 12 times. Then 13. Then 14. Then 15. With every chime, another streetlight exploded. With every chime, another green cloud appeared behind Mitch. Shapes that looked almost human, but not quite. Like someone describing a person from memory and getting several details incorrect.
That's when Mitch smiled. And if you listen this far, understanding something, every story before this point came from witnesses. Police reports, town records, rumours. This part comes from me, because I was there. And because one of those shadows looked directly at me.
The figure pointed. Not at Mitch. At the narrator. Him. And the man telling this story. For the first time in years, Mitchell White Brown looked frightened. Truly frightened. He turned towards the shadow and whispered, "No, not him." The shadow pointed again. And slowly, all the others turned to look at the same person.
Me. They're looking at me. And that's when I realised something horrible. Something I should have noticed from the beginning. Every witness, every police officer, every resident, every person in this story had vanished years ago, except me. Milton wasn't haunted by Mitchell White Brown. Milton was haunted by whatever Mitchell White Brown had been keeping out. And the clock had just stopped working. To be continued.
So this is obviously just a very heavy to take in story.
It is.
Where this might get taken down.
It's based on true events. I'm a survivor. I have
Here's a book.
I have a book. I have a GoFundMe set up as well.
And we have a podcast too.
Yeah, so check it out. Let us know if you want to hear part 3 because it gets deeper.
We've been the Furbies.
It's nice talking to you with our horror stories.